All right, so this one is all about the last week before decision day for Married at First Sight. So my name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. We have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on some of our favorite shows. As I mentioned, this is Married at First Sight. We're at the end, y'all. We're about to see who decides what they want to decide. So this is content that you enjoy. You know what to do by now. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
and share.
And we will see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. All right, so we're gonna run through them all today, just because there was a lot of repeat.
Just back and forth.
Yeah, they were saying the same thing to 5 different people.
Saying the same thing to the self camera.
Yeah.
To the large camera.
So
to Zoom.
Kristen and Mitch, right? Mm-hmm. They've been up and down. I understand. I think Kristen gets the Married at First Sight Wife of the Century Award.
You know, marriage is that. It's about being patient. Mm-hmm. It's about being kind. It's about trying to be understanding when you don't understand. And she only knows this person for 8 weeks.
Right.
But when you feel like you're trying to get to know someone in real life, right, some of this takes longer, or people don't want to stick around. Mm-hmm. And I think it's always trying to understand the balance of saying, I'm still going to try to be a part of this relationship and see where it goes, or I can't put up with certain things.
Right.
So, you know, for them, they had the option to say in 8 weeks they no longer want to be married because they're on national TV. Right. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. But someone who would marry Mitch because, oh wow, I am in love with you. Mitch chooses me and I choose him.
Right.
And then realizing, oh crap, So.
Wrong choice.
Well, is it for that person?
Right.
No.
For whoever, right?
Right. So, yes, I think she's ready for marriage, if anything. She's ready to say, I found someone and I found some core values that I like, and she should have some deal breakers.
Yes.
Even in this, there's some deal breakers.
Yes.
And then she's deciding I'm going to have to work through the rest of it. That's marriage.
I think of this entire, all of the folks in this season, I think that she might have been the most ready to be married out of all the couples.
Well, because she got so close to being married the first time, and then you have to turn and do the work about not feeling rejected.
Right.
You have to do the work about, is there anything I could have done better? Mm-hmm. Now, it's not my fault that my partner decided to sleep with someone.
Right.
But is there some things that I can be a better person, period?
And I think, so you just said, and I think it's interesting that you said dealing with the rejection of the previous relationship, but she finds herself in a relationship with Mitch where she also has to confront that rejection that he gives her at the very beginning, right?
That's true. And I think we have to also realize that there are points of marriage where at points you do feel rejected. Right? Mm-hmm. I think that's also it. If it's not about intimacy, it could be your train of thought or partnering in different areas of your life, right? Your finances, somewhere where something's going to trigger you.
Right.
So, and as they, they're having their fun moments. They're being open. You see Mitch saying, yeah, I want to get a facial,
Right.
And they're both getting facials, just laughing. That's the fun part of marriage.
Right.
That's the enjoyable part of having a partner and not doing things on your own.
Right.
And then as they're going through, right, they're showing them meet
with her friend,
and it was his brother.
Right.
which has always been a constant, voice in his life.
Because one thing his brother, I remember saying was, he's like, do you enjoy the time with her? Do you like spending, do you feel like she's a partner, what have? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I don't think you get how special that is. You're just glossing over like this is just an everyday thing. You have to recognize the value of what you have.
Right. Because when we're talking about having someone that's going to be a significant other,
right,
not just a friend, right? Because that's a part of marriage. It's about having that friend, but also that this is someone that you could be intimate with and you don't mind being in a car with 2 or 3 hours, and enjoying their time.
Or stuck in COVID lockdown with.
Right. Instead of being annoyed,
We survived COVID.
Woo. So, with that being said, he's like, dude, really, that's kind of what love is. It's not this overwhelming feeling of the thing you see on the movies. That's what he's trying to get to him. Like, it's the like, oh, we're good. Like, I could trust you. Like he was saying, the brother was saying, this is the person you can be vulnerable with because you can trust them. Yep. And so you're having those good moments and you're partnering in life. That's what love is. There you go. That's the M word, marriage.
The M word, we make it,
Make it, it is starting with the M.
It is, yes.
It's
yes,
the M word.
It's the M word. The M word.
The M word. You can't say that too often. It don't sound right.
Nah. Because you got to be clear too.
What M?
Yeah. They do go to dinner to talk through future plans.
Oh, we got to also remember, let's keep going on. We also got to remember, the brother said, you might need to give some type of gesture.
Yes.
If it's saying, hey, I want to continue this journey. However that looks for you, you need to say, I do want to stay married to you. I can see falling in love with you. Because when she talks to her sister, she's kind of like, he needs to put up a white flag or something. Yeah, like, I surrender.
Because she says she also still needs that verbal affirmation. She's Correct. Like, after everything we've been through, she needs that she needs to hear that from him because for so long, actions didn't match the words. And so she's like, I need those words to make sure that the actions, are matching and everything. So,
yep. And so by this time, they go to dinner and they're talking.
And a couple of things that he, I can't remember if it was dinner a little before, but he was, one of the things that he was saying was as far as not rushing into setting up shop together, rushing into living together, right?
Yeah.
Now, for Kristen's side, I would not be rushing to live in his house because y'all remember how trashy that house was before. Yeah,
I mean, we could I think they could compromise on that and find another place.
Ain't no compromise. That's a deal breaker.
Because he was like, well, maybe we should take our time. And she was like, she heard him out. Because, see, this is the places where I get hot. When you're like, what? What do you mean take our time?
Right.
So, and she hears him out. And then she's like, okay, I don't deal with blurry lines, not knowing where boundaries are. Us being married, but we're dating.
Right.
And
we're married but separated.
Right. She says, that doesn't work for me. And she said it so kind and so patiently getting her words out. She's like, and not knowing where I am in my relationship.
Yeah.
I am not going to be confused. We're not. Look, give it a black person. We ain't doing that. You need to just make up your mind. If you want to be with me and we're going to live together and we're going to see what that look like without the cameras, or we ain't doing this.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, we ain't doing it.
Yeah.
And so he's listening to her. It's like, oh, okay. All righty then. He kind of confirms like how he really cares about her.
Right.
Again.
He does say he doesn't want to lose her.
Right.
And he values her, appreciates her. Right.
her and all the things because he messed up and he shouldn't have said, and our relationship shouldn't have been rocky at the beginning, and it was all because of him and his anxiety and blah blah blah.
So, my prediction for them is that they will say yes.
Yes, I agree.
I think they'll say yes.
You put a check mark under both of us.
Ding. Yep, we'll do that.
They agree to stay married.
All right. So then Stacia and Nate.
Jesus.
So they, talk. He talks with his dad and sister, I think it was. And then she talks with her mom.
Yeah, because they had a little tiff when they were getting into it about children and him understanding about them still having fun as a couple and taking care of a kid and everything. And then him being triggered because his mom wasn't there. Mom was 23 and his dad and how that was handled. And she's trying to explain to him, bro, I'm 37 years old. If I'm still talking about us popping bottles and partying all night when we have a kid, then no.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to be responsible, but we should have fun.
And there's a different fun when you're 21 than when you're 35 and 37, right?
Exactly.
And so she's basically saying we can still have fun as a couple and have a kid. You can multitask. It's not one or the other. It's not either or.
Right. So he's skeptical about that, right? Now, granted, she could be a little off in her White House and thinking she's going to have kids and she's going to keep them from putting their little dirty paws all over everything.
If she can do that, listen.
Then I failed as a parent. I failed. Okay? My parenting skills was a failure. If she can keep the white couch and... He said, look at these white pillows. They're going to get their Cheeto hands, paint hands. I'm going to be watching them. Okay, you want more than one?
Yep.
You going to make the child paranoid?
Yep.
Are you going to put them in a plastic room so they can play?
Put them bubble kids.
Okay. What are you going to do to keep them snotty noses? They rub their face. It's just...
Yeah.
So, to me, they're both not listening to one another.
Right.
And they're not in the reality of what that looks like yet.
Right.
So
they're seeing each other kind of through their trauma, through their past.
Correct.
So
correct.
They do go, and one of Stacia's concerns has been that he's never been in love. That he even lived with someone for 2 years, but said that he didn't love that person. Right. So she's like, well, how do I know that you're going to love me? And so she, talks about that to her mom as kind of the issue. And then they go to a winery, I think it was.
Right.
And have lunch. And they're talking about that. And so, his initial concern or thing was, what are your flaws? Right. And she's like, I think I've shared everything with you. So she's like, my concern is that I'm on a path that you're not on as far as falling in love or being in love. She's like, where are we at with that? And he's like, well, I'm moving that. I see that. I see that as potential. I see that as possibility. And she's almost like, no, you got to do it now. That's kind of how she's approaching it. Is like, no, you should be completely, totally in love with me now, because if you're not, then I'm concerned.
And he's like, I don't know what else I need to show you. I'm going that direction. I'm affectionate. I'm doing everything I feel like a husband would do to show you. Pretty much to me, everything I'm hearing, he's saying that he loves her.
He's just he's afraid to put that word on it.
Right. It's like he going all around the world. And she's not picking up on it because based of her own past traumas and being rejected and men taking from her and not giving to her. And so she's trying to keep from being the rejection. So she's in a controlling mode.
Yes.
And he's in a flight mode.
Yeah.
So his trauma because his mom left and not giving love, right? So he's taking on, listen, you don't know what not receiving love is.
Right.
I know what not receiving love is. And so to me, what I'm thinking I'm hearing from him, Nate, is like, how dare you call me my mother?
Ooh.
How dare you call me I'm not loving you?
Wow. Yeah.
I seen what not loving somebody looks like.
That's good.
But I'm here. I put a tattoo on my arm showing I want to be committed to you. I wake up being affectionate, loving, and being there for you. And for you to compare me to the person I hate the most, that's why he says what he says is like, that's hurtful to me.
Yeah. Because she says that he's going through the motions. She's like, yeah, you get up, you say you love me, you hug me, what have you. But she's like, I want it to be deeper. I want it to be. And he's like, what does that mean?
Right. Because he's like, bro, he's like, this is me.
Right.
Loving you. Now, granted, I shared something how I responded in the past. Now, if you want me, what he could have said was, yeah, I responded out of lust. She was there. She was available. And I didn't put a lot of thought in it. I got what I wanted out of that relationship. And so I wasn't in love. But for me, you have to trust how I love.
Right.
And obviously they both can't communicate because they're both being triggered by their traumas of the past. And so for me, I'm listening to them and I'm like, they're not hearing each other because the thing that hurt them the most is what's blocking their hearing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't want to go in a cycle with you. You know, pretty much it's like everything that's your house. I don't think anyone who's thinking about being on Married First Sight should buy any large properties. You know, obviously she didn't know, you know, 'cause sometimes you don't know if you're going to be married on first sight. But once you knew and you're building this house, to me, it would be either you need to, like she did leave some of the furnishings, but at the same time, he didn't put her in her place and look, you're being controlling again and you're supposed to give this up.
Yeah.
If it's going to be our house, we need to come back here when you decide for me to put some furnishings in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to be serious. I'm going to really take it seriously about what I want in this house.
Yeah. Because he also was like, he said something, he's like, I don't want to get to a point and find that I'm stuck with you.
Yeah.
And that was his trauma, his pain was causing him to lash out. So he took what he received as an offense about you're just going through the motions. You're like my mom, like you said.
That's what he's hearing.
So he's hearing that. He's taking that in. So now he's lashing back with, I don't want to be stuck with you. I don't want to be here if, you know. And so their pain is causing them to mishear everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because obviously, you know, they leave, right?
Because he's also, the other thing also, I'm sorry, he said was that he doesn't want to be with someone that he's not sure he can satisfy. He's like, because I'm doing these things and that's not satisfying you. So you keep raising the bar, if you will, as far as what you need to be satisfied. And I'm doing some things, but these things you're like, I can't, they're not satisfying you. So therefore, I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Yeah, because, you know, they had their moment, like, so then you got to go home and go to bed with this person, you know, and they're brushing teeth and boy, woo, it was looking tough. It was just hot in the bathroom. They
making their gums bleed.
Right. Like, I'm going to stay far away. And then they get in bed, she looking, and he trying to get his do-rag on, like, a do-rag on here. And she's like, dude, you know. But, again, she goes in attack mode. Well, we've been given tools, and you're not using the tools. And he's like, listen, after I calm down outside of my emotion,
I came back and I used the tool.
I came back and used the tool. When you're emotional, who's pulling out tools? Nobody's pulling out tools when you're emotional.
Especially, here's the thing, when you just get a tool, right?
Right.
Now, it's not like this is 10 years in
Right.
And he's had these tools and he continues to refuse to use them.
Right.
This is, I just got something, but my first response is to act out of my emotion and out of my trigger.
Right.
And then I recognize, you know what? That probably wasn't the best thing. I was given some tools. Let me use these tools.
Right.
I give him credit for that.
And guess what, baby girl? It's mostly for the person who's not feeling the emotion, because he was correct. When you're in the midst of that emotion, it's raw. It's raw. So the person who's not overly emotional at the moment should grab the hand.
That should have been her. Yep, she should have done that.
That should be like, okay, I'm listening to you. It's okay. Breathe.
Yep.
And allow him to have the moment. You're holding his hand.
Yep.
And go ahead, get it out. And then realizing, how did I play a part? So while they're trying to talk it out, you're actively listening. Then see, okay, how can I respond? Can I recognize something I did wrong in the moment for this to come out the way it did? You know, but she wants to more, again, become critical.
Right.
And blame him from the moment, you know. And he's like, no. And then, you know, he was like, you keep saying these are the things you're not getting, and I don't know if I'm going to be enough. But he's like, but what did I tell you I need? I need affirmation. I need to know, my wife needs to be able to tell me that it's going to be okay.
Right.
And we got this together. And you ain't doing that. How about that? How about that? And then she want to go back to him. No. What I need, you're not doing.
Yeah.
So what about that?
Yeah.
So, and we have to own our own stuff. Now, maybe you're further along in being able to express yourself pretty well, then at the moment, until he's able to get there, and until he works through, which we see in the last episode, she called mommy issues, then you're going to have to be the stronger one in that area.
Right.
Until he's able to, because I feel like he can express himself once he's able to get everything out.
Yes.
He needs a good session.
Yes.
To navigate through that.
So for her, part of the concern is the cycles of him being upset and tantrums from him, right?
She calls it a tantrum, but
yeah.
I don't think it's a tantrum.
I don't think so. I think it's just a reaction to the scenario situation.
Right. And it's frustration.
Yeah.
I can get that.
Yeah.
I get him. I get what he's saying. And the effort that he's taking, and she's not recognizing because of her own traumas.
Right.
So
I think that in spite of what we saw these last 2 episodes from them, I think they're good to go. I think they're going to move forward together.
I think they need to keep with their plan. If he's actually started counseling, that's where I'm concerned. I don't think he has yet. He said he talked to her, say, hey, I do want to go to counseling.
Right.
But I think with the last couple of responses, it doesn't sound like maybe that's something he started yet.
Gotcha.
Because he is overly anxious when we see him in these last episodes, right? You have to make a decision. You're not feeling, she didn't make it feel comfortable to be able to move into this house.
Right.
Because when he went into even the store, he was like, I can't even be here because you tripping on everything and it's all about you and what you want in this home. Yeah, because this is your house.
Yep.
You know? And so, and I get that. You don't know which way to go. And you feel like, and that's another thing. You're being in a show and you feel like you have to say yes or no. You know, in the moment where you do need more time. But again, you're looking for deal breakers.
So what's your answer?
So, my answer is, I believe once he can take in what happened and really be able to ponder, I think he's going to still say yes. But there is a really great chance of him saying no.
So, all right, no. What's your answer?
Oh, my God.
And no going around the block to get back to where we at. What's the answer? Yes or no?
I'm going to say he's going to say yes.
They're both going to say yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to lock it in.
Yes, it's locked in because we ain't going back on that one. All right. Now, next couple.
Shut up.
All around the world, the same song. All right. Lindy and Miguel.
They're going to say yes. Let's just get to the end of theirs.
All right, so they're going to say yes.
They're going to say yes. They pretty much, they're still making up from 2 weeks ago.
And he does acknowledge at some point during the episode that, he was having essentially a bad reaction, bad response, bad mental health weekend, if you will, just with everything that was going on. I think overall for them, I think that and he even says she's more theatrical.
He did call it theatrics.
He said theatrics.
He does write for a medical, so his details of words are okay.
So he was like, "You're more theatrical than I'm used to."
Even though he plays
your emotions, even though he does cosplay and plays Dungeons and Dragons.
She's more.
So that's saying a lot too. So.
Well, you worried about her blowing up. I don't like his blow ups. I don't like how he responds. And to me, that is controlling. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do this. Whoa. What's with the attitude? Now, to me, that's the attitude. Mm-hmm. And so, I think because they can be very analytical, mm-hmm. I think they're going to really just, if they had counseling to keep reinforcing what needs to be occurring and how they can help one another mm-hmm. without being the whole support. And I think they kind of mentioned that. And that also will help their relationship. If they had a neutral party that they could talk to, right. instead of talking to family and friends about what they're going through, I think that would keep them on an even playing field as they work through their issues. And then she can understand that when someone's really trying to share their heart, you're not chasing a squirrel in your head. Yeah. So I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to accept. There might be some mind blowing. If anything is one between Nasha and Nate of saying yes or no, or them.
Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah, I mean there wasn't much new from them. It was
like they were literally still making up.
It was a recovery from the weekend.
Right.
Yeah. Alexis and Justin.
Yeah.
Who I had high hopes for at the beginning.
I had high hopes for everyone at the beginning.
Everybody because had high hopes at the beginning of the season.
The puppy love thing can get a little annoying.
True.
So it's like, y'all believe in marriage easy, okay.
Yeah. And marriage was like, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this.
You ever get that one in? That's a new one.
Hey.
You came with some new songs.
Hey.
There will be some trivia. Can you name that song?
Okay.
Where did that come from?
And where did that meme come from?
Right.
All right. So she talks with her mom. He talks with his mom.
Yeah.
And we didn't do a recap last week, but as far as him giving his dog away, he felt that was going to be like the nail in the coffin of now we're solidified as a couple. We're going to move forward together because he gave up his dog. And she was like, hold up. Wait a minute. Let me shake your world just a little bit. That don't mean all that.
No.
So he's talking with his mom about that. Because
I understand where you're coming from.
I do.
Because this is an 8-week experiment. But you did give it to your best friend. It's not like you can't go to your best friend and ask for your dog.
It's not like you dropped it off at the pound and it's been readopted by somebody else.
Right. And they're trying it out. He says, I didn't know if I could have a dog in the house. Right. So it's a 2-week period. He would have been there, but so it's like
your dog just went on another vacation.
Right. Right.
So
it's okay.
But I do not to make light of it because yes, as dog parents we get that.
Right.
But
did you just say we're dog parents? You falling for it.
Dog owners, whatever.
You call us dog parents. Go ahead.
He act like a child. So
he is a child. Brat.
Yeah, he a brat sometimes. All right. So they're talking that through. There's something else that the mom said. I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, because, okay, so she's like, you're overthinking, you're in your head. Just because you gave that dog up doesn't mean she's supposed to commit her life to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
What? Are you serious, Mom? Yes. But, that means everything. Okay, you walking down the street and thinking you're going to be able to cross, your world could change like that too.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to make the decision to cross the street no matter what may or may not happen. And then he was talking about, I guess, the intimacy part and, her wanting to be dominated.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, oh, you need to be more freaky, boy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I am. She like, She said,
Evidently not.
Oh, okay. Because I get, what I hear is, I need permission from my wife.
Right.
Instead of feeling confident that she's into him and it's okay. When she's giving every green light, checker flag.
Right. She's saying, she's giving the permission. And I think that what she's trying to get across is you have the permission. If there's something that's too much or too far, she'll let you know. Mm-hmm. But you have the green light.
Right.
So then they do go ahead and have their conversation. One of the things that she mentioned to her mom was that he's in his head, right? Mm-hmm. And he even recognizes later on, he's like, yeah, I realize I've been in my head a lot. Mm-hmm. For Alexis, it's like, well, that's a great revelation and understanding, but did you get there too late?
And now that it gives her hope. Mm-hmm. And it does kind of like change her perspective or maybe how she's going to answer. Because that's what she's saying. She's like, this is the thing that we had to work through from the beginning and for it to become a revelation. Because you could tell it's a new truth for him.
Right.
And he's really taking it in. And unfortunately, they'd only known each other for 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. This is his mother. So from it coming from his mother and him not realizing that a lot through his childhood until now, is for her, it's like, okay, he is getting what I've been trying to say.
Right.
And is this enough? Will he go back to his old ways? The whole 9 yards. So she kind of mentions that while they're there. I feel like they had a good conversation allowing each other to speak without internalizing what they're saying.
Right.
And then dishing it back out and being mean or, just getting upset. So I'm glad that they were able to talk it out.
Yeah.
And I think he said he was in a good space no matter what she says, yes. or no. Because even when they had that conversation, by now,
he's like he's resigned himself to be good with whatever she's saying, basically.
Yeah.
So I am saying that this couple is going to be a no. I think Alexis is going to be like, yeah, I can't do this. I think, and in some respects, if I'm honest, I think she checked out a few weeks ago.
I'm going to say she's going to stay yes.
Okay.
Now, her mom says don't stay because you want to show you're committed.
Right.
And that you're not a runner.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
But at the same time, if he's not everything that you want to look for in a person in a relationship. But I think she's going to say yes because there is so much good there.
Okay.
I think it's worth the effort after all the lights and the cameras go. And what people have to realize, what they're coming in revelation of, it's going to take time to grow into. And are you willing to wait for that?
Yeah.
Like they said, are you going to throw the baby out with the bathwater? It's like...
Yeah, she's throwing it all out. That's what I think. So.
All
right. So that's it. We made our predictions. We will see you all next week, of course, for their decisions. But definitely make sure you're checking out other videos on the channel. We've got some actually new shows. We're going to do Love Is Blind this season. So that's going to be interesting.
That's going to be interesting.
And there's a new show that we're checking out to see maybe if we'll do that as well. But definitely, if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed.
Or joined.
Or liked.
Or members.
Yeah.
Or check out the merch store.
Then what are you doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? All right.
Subscribe.
That's it for this one. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.